What's up, guys? My name's Everett, and today we're going to start it off with the first episode of our review show. What are we calling this show, anyways? Pop or Flop?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
I got the good stuff.
So today, guys, we're going to be going over Invisible Man. It's one of the first horror films to come out in 2020, and usually for anybody that knows film, you know that January and February releases are normally the bottom of the barrel. I've been watching the trailer for this movie for the past few months, and sometimes I'm quick to judge a book by its cover. I went last night on opening night to see this film. It was actually really good. So what we're going to talk about is what sets this film apart from every other generic horror movie, because this is a remake of a 1930s, a well-known horror movie monster, The Invisible Man. But what they're doing here is they're taking a whole new twist on it. It's not what you would expect as far as somebody drinking a serum and becoming invisible. The movie starts out with Elisabeth Moss, who's playing Cecilia, and she is a traumatized woman, desperate to get out of a very horrible relationship by her abusive boyfriend, Adrian. So let's cut to the second act, where we find out that something happened to Adrian, but Cecilia is convinced that there is an invisible presence haunting her and following her and hell-bent on ruining her life. The entire production of the movie rests on top of Elisabeth Moss's shoulders. This is a psychological movie where we feel bad for her. That's kind of what's the scariest part about it. Not so much the monster that's following her. This movie takes place in a very realistic world where it's an abusive relationship, something that everybody sees but doesn't really point out as a monster. What Elisabeth Moss' performance is able to do is honestly carry the entire weight of this film to where it's so good and so realistic that it kind of dissuades any of the, what would you call it? Fuck. What is the word? I don't know. Let's take it from the top, though, Slick. Elisabeth Moss, what she's able to do with her performance is she can dissuade all the absurdities of the film, where, okay, it's an invisible monster, like, how believable is this? But the fact that even though it's an invisible monster, it's cemented in this realism of a real world, it's fully believable. That's where the real terror comes into it, because as the movie progresses, we're so in Cecilia's corner that we want her to get out of this situation. There's a scene about halfway during the movie where everything it takes a big twist. I really didn't expect a lot of things to happen in this that ended up happening, and I was pleasantly surprised. First of all, the CGI that they're using in this, as far as making things levitate and then people interacting with the Invisible Man himself, it's flawless. It's really good. A lot of the action kind of has the same feel for Leigh Whannell's last movie, Upgrade. If anybody saw that, the camera kind of moves with the action, and it's very engrossing into that. Towards the end, as the movie kind of goes on, I would say one of the biggest problems with it is the pacing. It's topping out at a little over 2 hours, and the last 20 minutes really show that. There's kind of a false ending where it's like, okay, that seems like the bow has been put on top of the movie. I'm ready to walk out of here. And it's like, hold on, we got 15 more minutes to deal with this. So that was kind of one of my only gripes with it. I didn't really know any other actors in it, which is fine. Elisabeth Moss is good. I'm glad that she's now getting a role that's something you wouldn't expect from her being in such dry roles as like Mad Men or Handmaid's Tale. This was a surprise. She did a phenomenal job. And for a horror movie, a female lead, I would say probably one of the best female performances in recent memory would be, what's her name from, what's the girl's name from Crawl? IMDb it real quick. Shout it out.
Kaya Scodelario.
From Crawl?
Yes.
That's the lead?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Kaya Scodelario last year and Alejandra's Aha's Crawl, another fantastic performance. And I don't know, maybe we'll cut that then. I didn't know that's how you fucking say her name. I thought it was Blake Lively. So let's talk rating. What is this movie worth? Is it even worth your time? Actually, yeah, 100%. If you can see it in theaters, sure, by all means. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 pops. And Chris, I was thinking in post-production, maybe we could put like 10 silhouetted bottles here and fill 8 of them in for 8 out of 10. Okay. So I have to just say, for anybody that's seen the movie and is trying to check out a review or thinking like, well, wow, there was a lot of great things in the production that I really liked about it. The first thing I have to say is if anybody's going to get a thank you, it's Tom Cruise. And you're probably saying, well, what the hell does that mean? Let's rewind the clock back to 2017. The Mummy came out. This was supposed to be the first of many films in a revamping of Universal's classic movie monsters. And Tom Cruise's The Mummy was going to be one of the first. And at the time, they had Russell Crowe cast as Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Javier Bardem from No Country for Old Men was going to play Frankenstein's monster. And in this role for the Invisible Man, it was originally meant to be Johnny Depp. Now, I'm not sure if they completely abandoned the dark universe and nothing is getting combined. There is no notion in this film of it attached to any other thing. And I really think that works best for this movie. It's standalone. And really, I'm glad The Mummy sucked as much as it did. Because if it had box office success, there's a chance that we wouldn't have gotten to see Elisabeth Moss's performance and Leigh Whannell's different style of directing and how he's making a horror movie where it's not like Saw. I mean, this guy's career started 16 years ago at this point when he was Adam in the disgusting basement with Cary Elwes in the original Saw. So it's really interesting to see progression as far as a director and a filmmaker that's branching out into a new style. And for a horror movie fan, this was well done. I really enjoyed it. Guys, that's going to be a wrap for the first episode of Pop or Flop. And if you like this, yeah, go ahead. We'll say it. It's a cliche. Click the bottom down here. Like and subscribe. If you want, scroll even lower. You could leave us some comments. If I got some free time, we can get into an argument and harass each other and whatever you want to do. Be sure to follow Pop Films on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube. Thanks for watching.
Cool. Oh no, we're not doing any spoilers, I guess.
I'll tell you some spoilers. Okay, guys, so I hate when people throw spoilers out without any fair warning. We're going to give you guys 5 seconds. Stop watching right now if you don't want to hear anything, if you don't want the movie ruined. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There is a scene halfway during this film where Elisabeth Moss and her sister character are out to dinner, and they're talking, and she's trying to convince people and persuade them where there's somebody following me. There's something actually happening. And you see this knife kind of float up, and then the characters notice it. And very quick, there's a cut to where the sister's throat is cut and the knife is thrown into Elisabeth's hand. And she's stuck there in the middle of this crowded dinner where everybody else in the restaurant sees that what would look like she just cut her sister's throat. It's a very big kind of twist. Like it pulls no punches. It comes out of nowhere. And we're kind of left with the feeling that this movie is now turning into darker territory, where it's not so much just things are floating and the door's left open. This scene concretes the film to let you know it's going to get worse for her before it ever gets any better. And god damn,